to battle, sir. I'm going in.
I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say just starts...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
Lights, standing lights. Everything burning, thank you. Right, background action. Harrison.
What? Where the hell have you been? Where have you been? All right, don't lose your temper. I'll come right back and give you a hand. Where you going? To make my report. Tell him we're leaving then. All right, I'll tell him.
Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy.
Matt Lanter performs this really very emotional scene where Anakin is talking to his dead mother. And Shmi. And he says to her, I have a wife and I want you to meet her.
You would really like her.
You would like her. And,
Yeah.
and Matt performed it very emotionally and really very, very well. And we're about to move on. And I said, got to do that again. And he goes, well, why? And I said, because Padme already met Shmi.
Yeah, they had dinner
the Phantom
together.
Menace. They had food. And I saw Dave kind of take his hat.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking over at Ashley, and Ashley goes, I've never seen someone out-geek Dave Filoni before. And I think that was when Dave was thinking, maybe we keep this guy around a little bit.
You got to remember, this is one movie, and it's meant to be seen 1 through 6. So I think when you watch the actual movie in order, the story will become very clear that Anakin is the chosen one. And even when Anakin turns into Darth Vader, he is still the chosen one. The prophecy is that Anakin will bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. He becomes Darth Vader. Darth Vader does become the hero. Darth Vader does destroy the Sith, meaning himself and the Emperor. He does it because he is redeemed by his son. And by doing that, he redeems himself and goes from being Darth Vader back to being Anakin again.
Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The code of the Sith.
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious. Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 77 of Saturday Night Sith. I hope you're all doing well tonight. I am your host, Fractured Filter, and with me, as always, my buddy, my compatriot, my friend in all this madness in the world, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
I just got excited because you played the Sith code off Path of Destruction.
Absolutely.
What is it? I was trying to really quick before try to find out who did it. Is it Jonathan? It's not Jonathan Davis.
Yeah, that was
is it?
Jonathan Davis that did that audiobook. That did all 3 of those audiobooks.
Well, just gives you chills. He is such an amazing, just nailed it.
Yeah,
absolutely
100%.
nailed it.
And I felt like this might be a kind of good lead-in, especially tonight, because yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights, I think, especially with what we've got planned. You know?
Oh yes.
I think some of the Sith side will be certainly present for sure. You know what? We like to have fun, right? We have our fun stuff too. Mods and all that. And I've been getting into a bit of shenanigans, playing Fable and stuff like that, and hanging out with Static, Wookiee, and them. And I was gonna have something planned for towards the end of this episode tonight. And Wookiee clipping comment. I kind of mentioned this before we went live. And really quick, let me just say, hang on, let me get to the chat just really quick, because we already have, of course, Wookiee's in there. He's cheering for Filoni. Cheering. And I'm going to have a follow-up reason for some of those. Duke Devil, hello, sir. Hot off the presses, KK's contract extended for all eternity. That slag ain't leaving until she's ready. And Static asking, is this the normal time? Yes, this is back to normal routine for the show. Acid, hello, sir. Not watching this until you go live on OnlyFans as well. Like I said, would locals be acceptable? And you asked, will there be nachos and beer? We could work something out. Give us time. Yes, dude, that's true. Felony is good because, as we call him here too, he's the trash panda where they threw out all the EU material. Felony likes to go dumpster diving for that thrown out material. But yeah, so I was gonna put together this whole video because it was going to be from Static's weekend pregame show where Duke jokingly called me out as being a fake EU fan. And I was naturally playing into it, going, oh my God. And it's so true. He's got me. I was going to use those clips. And then, of course, I was leaning into it more when I was playing some Fable, praising Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy. Because you got to have some good fun, you know, some good natured ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm not liking the sounds of any of this.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where this. I can only imagine.
But it was certainly going to be, and like I said, I was going to put together this whole video. I was gonna play it towards the end too, and I was gonna have a full video. Where it was me confessing my actual love for Disney Star Wars. And all this stuff, just to further the fun. But thanks to the Ahsoka trailer, and this is the thing too, like here you go. So I was gonna play a clip of the video that I was putting together, and then I was going to then suddenly appear on screen to you. And I wasn't going to tell you a damn thing. I was going to appear on screen like this. I was going to suddenly be Mando.
Oh my God.
And then that was just kind of how I was going to leave the show. And I was going to then kind of tell you off camera what I was planning. But thanks to this freaking Ahsoka trailer that dropped, the little it's another 30-second little teaser thing. I caught because Wookiee posted it in the little chat, the DM chats that we have, and I caught just a few bits of it, and I was just like, "Fucking hell!" And so, like, that's why I had to have the Sith code, even though it doesn't do a whole lot to actually calm me. I felt it was very appropriate for what we're going to be talking about tonight. So yeah, that was kind of some of my plans that I was having. That for sure. It was like I said, I had a whole lot planned out. I thought I was gonna have a lot of fun, but sadly, that didn't, because of all this. Hello there, Vader Fanatic. Welcome, sir. Hail back at you. So that was part of that, and in fact, let me try and get the clip too. I don't care. It was, like I said, we're all having a lot of good fun with it. God, through all these freaking messages. What was going to be even better too was when I got the clips from Static's weekend pregame show. That was going to be the extra, just kind of.
Now, here's the thing, though. Did Static's? Somebody told. I heard somewhere that like you are a lover of Disney. Somebody was going around saying this, and I can't remember.
Yeah, that was Duke Devil as well. He
was it Duke Devil?
Like you said, you think I can still pick up that Sabine Jedi Padawan figure I saw today if you want it.
You know,
thank you, Bradley, but no, thank you. I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
We could get a hold. You know what? Like if I had known this, we could get Daviaso in here, and I'm sure he can get you some.
That could have been perfect.
If only
I could have. Okay, so yeah, here is the and let me know if here it's some audio. Okay. Browser tab. Okay. Let me know if you are able to hear this. Dave Filoni is the Saviors. Did you hear it?
No. We'll play it. Hit play. Yeah. Very quiet.
The Saviors, Star Wars. KK is doing an amazing job. The people out there are just blind and can't see it. So yes, thank you. I can stop lying now. And I mean, you would already be kind of, I would imagine, a little suspicious with all our conversation.
Highly sus.
I wanted to have so much fun with it too, but I know in good
Fracture
faith
is
I
secretly
can't.
a fan. He is using reverse psychology to get me not to watch Rebels, secretly hoping that I'll watch Rebels because he loves Rebels and can't wait for the Ahsoka series.
You're onto my 4D chess, sir.
Where's Wookiee? Because like I was sharing with you, like I think yesterday we were talking, and I like 17 and a half times have I pulled up Rebels and
yeah, you were
was like, that. Do I need to do, like, should I do it? And then there's like, do it. And then I'm like, on principle, like I can't, because once you have watched this, there's no going back. Like you can no longer pull the card or play the card of like, I've never watched it, I never will watch it, and blah blah blah. Once you watch it, like it's out the door. Like you've watched it. You have surrounded.
You have soiled your brain.
You have soiled. You have soiled your pants. You've soiled your brain. I remember like watching and I always butcher the name, the Mortis arc from Clone Wars, and I was like, this is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, I know Wookiee likes it, and we love Wookiee. We love Wookiee. Wookiee's great. But like, I was like, what am I watching? Like this Dracula looking guy that's a bat, and then this Pokemon Lugia girl.
He's kind of got a point. We did watch Obi-Wan.
Why? What?
I hate to give it to him.
He's the one who dragged me into it. Okay. I which is worse, Obi-Wan or Rebels?
Obi-Wan for sure.
That's funny. You did say you watched it,
but again, it's like picking your poison. One kills you faster than the other. Rebels is just a little more
a slow burn
over time, sort of death as
yeah.
they slowly but surely kill their own canon and everything. While
Rebels
Obi-Wan is just like the shotgun blast to the back of your head because it's just like immediate. It just does the destruction. Bam! Right there,
I think
you're done for.
And
it's one season, while Rebels is 4.
Yeah, I would act an Obi-Wan to like Braveheart, where he's getting his intestines just pulled out of his gut, yelling "Freedom,
freedom,
freedom from the show." And then Rebels.
Yeah, Static, like, you are innocent this time. We just call each other fat all the time. So
all the time.
I guess you were not nice on that respects to each other, but and he's been staying out of the Obi-Wan the Rebels Disney shit. Good thing you didn't want it because I spent all my money buying Star Trek Discovery figures. Oh come on, you are
Is it new Trek?
Haha, they don't make those figures. Yeah. Yeah, the
I think
that the acronym is STD. STD. Yeah, they chose wisely with that one.
But in all seriousness, like I think Wookiee does have a point. I think what we've talked about probably makes sense because if we go into this thing next month, the only thing we have
towards the end
or this month, I'm sorry, the end of this month.
Yeah, this month.
The only thing we have. Don't remind me. I was hoping that it's next month. Maybe we'll do like the Groundhog Day where it's always like going to, the only thing we will have to base this show off of is EU.
Yeah.
And I don't think there'll be anything in this show that will come close to obviously EU. So therefore, what do we have?
No, because we have
no reference point.
Yeah, they've killed so much of that.
And if I have to find the post. I think OG had posted something about like Ahsoka is going to be the replacement of like Luke Skywalker, which is very interesting because I at one point in time thought that that's what Rey was going to be. I thought Rey, the Mary Sue character, was going to be like the new Luke and everything. But it's interesting now that like now they're doing Ahsoka. Like Ahsoka's now like this. She has more plot armor than Mando. She has more Beskar than Mando does when it comes to plot armor. Like you can't get rid of this person.
As you mentioned that, it's like it kind of like
Mando had a lot of plot armor, man. He had a lot of plot armor during the show, but now it's like because he's a dude, he's a male, right? It's so interesting that they'll sit here and say that there's 32,000 genders, but they'll say Bo-Katan's a girl and Mando's a guy. It's so interesting, and that they will screw Mando in the pooch because he's a guy to show that Bo-Katan
I think some of it was just kind of that slow burn,
I don't know.
I think they were building up to this, but I also do think that Rey was the original plan, and I think they just kind of either sidestepped or this was also like
I don't know, man.
Felony found his opportunity to push Ahsoka to the forefront, he is now gotten it.
No matter what the situation is, whether it was Book of Boba, it was they deconstructed Boba, and Fennec Shand was more Boba than he was, right? And then that show was terrible, so they bring in Mando, right? And then Mando for the first 2 years, well, let's say the first year, I guess, was based off Mando, and then what happened? They brought in Gina Carano, and then Gina Carano stood up for what she believed, and then they screwed her over.
She got
it.
yeeted off
who,
of that.
Who
Yeah.
was the replacement for Gina Carano? It was freaking Bo-Katan. So whatever situation it is, it seems like they don't like male characters very much. I think maybe that's why they're trying to. I don't know. I could be crazy. Maybe I've been drinking the conspiracy Kool-Aid, but it's just you see a pattern though. Boba Fennec, Mando, Gina Carano, or I'm sorry, what was her name in the what was her name in Mando?
Bo-Katan?
No, Gina. Was it Gina?
Oh, her character?
Yeah.
Oh, Cara Dune.
Cara Dune. So it was Mando, Cara Dune. Now it's again Mando. Now it's Bo-Katan. Freaking Anakin. Now it's Ahsoka. Like, what are we like? I could be crazy. Maybe I'm not making any sense. But Ahsoka has a lot of plot armor, man. And what's all this talk about going to Mustafar? Like, they're going to go back to like, was this? They didn't fight. Ahsoka and Anakin didn't fight on Mustafar. They fought in a temple that was on. That was on more like
Malachor.
Malachor. So a terrible representation of Malachor 5. But so why are they going to go to Mustafar? Because I've heard this somewhere. I was there's a tweet or something I looked at. It was like
there's a theory and rumor which I think we've already heard about it too, and it's the theory that it's gonna do a what if.
She's gonna go through the door. Ahsoka, she's gonna go through the door. She's gonna go through the door. And
yeah, if it was Ahsoka that went and faced Anakin instead of Obi-Wan, or possibly, it's gonna possibly play on the ending of like the Revenge of the Sith PS2 game, and it's Anakin killing Obi-Wan and then Ahsoka coming to save the day or whatever.
Well, we already know that Obi-Wan was the only person outside Qui-Gon that could have kept him from turning. That's why Palpatine put it, like, from my understanding, and hopefully, OG, whatever, Tim can correct me, but my understanding was that's why they sent him to Utapau and kept Anakin there. So
it was to keep it,
to continue to work on Anakin.
Obi-Wan Obi-Wan, basically, at least from what I always kind of gathered from the book, was that Obi-Wan was definitely that kind of anchor to the Jedi, that Obi-Wan helped Anakin kind of see things for what they actually were versus what his ego and everything was pushing him to be.
Yeah.
But as soon as Palpatine maneuvered that so expertly, he got that one person away from him that he needed to, and he could continue preying on his fears.
Yeah.
And get Anakin to embrace the dark side like he did, and fall into the trap that he himself was already walking into.
Right. Obi-Wan was the hinge piece. Well, I mean, I believe it was Qui-Gon, but she took care of Qui-Gon, right? So Obi-Wan point,
Qui-Gon already was out of the picture. He certainly could have been. He could have been a very, very significant key to the whole shebang. But
I guess in perspective, like I'm going to say this. Maybe we've watched worse than Rebels. Maybe Book of Boba was worse than Rebels. Maybe Obi-Wan was worse than Rebels. Maybe taking that perspective, maybe then we can get through it. But again, like, I think we just have to do it. Like, I don't want to, but I think to have a reference point, because what's going to happen if I don't watch this, I'm going to go into this and I'm just going to be like, well, that's not Palian, and well, that's not Thrawn, and I guess Thrawn is only in one episode out of 4
seasons. It seems like he's going to be actually playing a minimal role in this.
Which is so stupid. Least the way it's sounding. How are you gonna call it Heir to the Empire?
I think what they're doing. I think
Ahsoka's going to be the heir to the Empire.
What they're going to be doing is leading up towards the whole Mandoverse, Ahsoka-verse movie that they're going to do after this series. It's all building up for that, and then Thrawn will be the big bad of the movie. So I think that's possibly where they're heading with it.
That's absolutely asinine. You can't have how are you going to have a show that's called heir. Let's call Ahsoka, but you're saying heir to the Empire. It's very clear that you're using.
Well, that's the hook. That's
the hook, right?
That's how they hook you. That's how they hook people in, by dropping those little words, and
then
it's the key jangling and the member berries. Oh, you remember Heir to the Empire, right? Oh, you remember Thrawn. Oh, guess what? So the Heir to the Empire is to try and entice the EU fans. The Thrawn is plus EU fans and the Rebels fans, because unfortunately they have a version of Thrawn, which is the incorrect version, but they have a version of them. Because as I've been going through I went through Heir to the Empire, and I'm on book 2 right now. The differences is night and day.
Yeah. For
Thrawn and Pelion. That's the funny thing. Like recently I saw somebody I forgot what happened and how it got started exactly, but like I had created a meme using the Pelion that appeared in Mandalorian season 3, and I slapped underneath him, "If only you knew how bad it really was."
Yeah.
And so it kind of got us conversation starting in the thread, and the person was saying that Pelion didn't get really interesting until later in the EU books after Thrawn. And as I've gone through these first 2 books, and I'm still going through book 2, I'm disagreeing. I'm actually finding Pelion to be very much a very compelling and interesting character, even though he's part of the bad guys. I like how, for Pelion, he's definitely like the old guard. He's kind of that character representative of the old empire that was there before Thrawn came back. He has a great deal of pride, not only in even in potentially himself, but also in what he believes the Imperial Navy is capable of. Because I loved how he kind of took a bit of offense and everything. Well, actually, he did take offense to the idea of that it was Palpatine, Sidious, basically using like a form of battle meditation to make the Navy much more effective. Yeah. And everything, making the right strikes and all that sort of stuff, using the Force to control them in just the right ways to make them so deadly and effective in battle. And I like that, how he just kind of took this side of like, this is ridiculous. No, you're in Thrawn has to point out, but think about that battle and how the whole Navy fell apart as soon as Sidious died. And he kind of has to admit to himself, it bugs him still a little bit throughout the first book. But I like that. I was like, he takes pride in their command and their abilities and stuff like that, prior to what he believed was them just, it was the fall of the Death Star. Yeah, that's a huge morale killer. I could see that for sure, but it was more than that he didn't understand and realize. And I thought that was great. And then also it's kind of funny how he gets a little flustered because of how Thrawn has taken such command and the way he commands, and then he happens to pay Pelion a compliment on him also now making the right observations and stuff like that, and really starting to use some deductive reasoning and everything. And he pays him that compliment, and he gets a little flustered. It's like, and he's starting to, it's kind of like, because like the whole thing is how the Empire is very xenophobic and everything. They hate aliens and all that, but it's like he's working with one. He's working with a chiss. Yes, he's very much a humanoid alien. He's just blue skin, but has those crazy red eyes. But like that's even then, he acknowledges
he doesn't even look like Thrawn though.
Well, not the new one. No,
yeah.
I'm referring to the original Bruce Thrawn.
Yes.
I'm referring to that, and how he's an Imperial guy through and through, but here he is. He's working with an alien, and taking great pride in what he's doing, and acknowledges Thrawn's ability in a major way, and then also is this like like it is. He just kind of gets a little sidestepped by being complimented because he's not necessarily used to that from high command, because prior was people like Darth Vader who sometimes would choke your ass out for sometimes little indiscretions.
Yeah.
So I had to, so sorry to kind of go off on that, but it's just like I had to do, it's like I should have probably respond in that thread, but I'm just like, some things are worth it, some things aren't. And I thought, hey, what a great thing to bring up for the shows is to kind of talk about that. Because like it is like Palian basically took a complete sidestep, like a total. He was like background, if I remember right, in the Rebels series. He's kind of a background character at best. He didn't quite have that same. He wasn't quite the. They kind of gave it to this weird bowl cut looking lady that looked like the lady from. She looked more like the character from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. If you ever you saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right? I forget. Yeah. So you know the Russian lady that is chasing them throughout the whole movie. She basically looks like that.
Oh yes.
So,
oh, there.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, there's no comparison to that in Rebels at all. Which unfortunately, yeah, we may have to kind of get through and be ready for the show, because it's theming that way that that even in this show they're potentially going to be retconning their own stuff.
Yeah.
So I do have an article on that, but I'm saving that for after we watch the trailer, because I believe it has to do with the trailer. But for now, shall we go into some of our articles for today?
Yes.
All right. One I'm gonna save too. So here's one that Duke might. Well, let me get through the chat really quick. So they were kind of talking about some of the stuff, because Wookiee was claiming that Static was taking his stuff down, and Static, like he points out, YouTube chat has sucked for a few weeks now. Yeah, it's been acting really weird. Like he says, they've been getting a few errors. I've had that happen too when I've tried to chat in some of the other channels. Like I would leave a message too, and then like I'd refresh, go back in, and it'd be gone. So like it was never sent. So there's some weird stuff going on. Let's see. Wookiee, actually my Vader tattoo is inspired by Rebels with the split open helmet. Then they ruined it in Obi-Wan, which that was even taken from a comic book. Thank you, Felony, for robbing more EU stuff. Establishing this Ahsoka verse, yeah. Well, and they talk about Obi-Wan turning into a pile of clothes. He doesn't learn that until at the end after the kids are born, right? That's him on Tatooine getting trained by Qui-Gon. Wait, Obi-Wan gets killed on Mustafar. Ahsoka stops Vader, and then Ahsoka cloned Kenobi so he can watch Luke. Obi-Wan, oh god, that wouldn't surprise me. No, that would be Obi-2. Article of Peach Mints. Anywho, so Duke Devil and Wookiee were talking about Stargate on one of their just kind of random chats of just talking nerd stuff, and it's apparently starting to crop up, which scares the shit out of me. But it is a rumor. Keep in mind, this is a rumor, but rumors can be weird. However, rumor, new details revealed about Stargate series that was supposed to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con. For anybody that didn't know, yes, Comic-Con did take place, I think, last week, 2 weeks ago? Last week? 2 weeks ago, yeah. No, last week, I think. I don't know.
Last week.
Oh, it's announced San Diego Comic-Con in July. So that's when it was. But yeah, so a new rumor claims to reveal significant details about the Amazon Prime videos plans for a new Stargate series that was supposed to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con in July. According to YouTube channel The Popcast, Prime Video planned to announce this new Stargate series at San Diego Comic-Con. but ended up canceling the announcement due to the Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA strikes, which I guess I'm thankful for that now. I mean, I already was, because and then Hollywood in turmoil, which I'm always happy about. But that it potentially kirboshes this makes me all the happier. They noted, according to sources, don't you just love this? According to sources very close to the project, the big announcement was scheduled July 23rd. So yeah, about 3 weeks ago. Scheduled July 23rd at Comic-Con. During a panel, the plan was to unveil the Stargate roadmap moving forward, starting with a movie and then a limited series. The podcast added the movie would serve as a pilot bridging the gap between Stargate SG-1, Atlantis, and the new series. Interesting that they would ignore Stargate Universe. I'm not a fan of Stargate Universe. That's not my favorite of the 3 series, but that's kind of funny that doesn't get mentioned. Later in the video, they shared their current plan is to produce a movie as a special 2-part event that acts as a pilot for a new series. And back in the day when, unfortunately, Stargate Atlantis did get the axe and everything, and I think they were getting ready to start Universe. I remember, I was following Joseph Malozzi's blog that he was keeping, and they were talking about doing a movie special 2-parter as well, or just a single movie that was going to kind of help a little bit wrap up what happened with Atlantis and stuff like that. It's going to get like to be on the moon base and all this other stuff. Sounded like it could have been fun. Some of the movies were okay that they did, the little specials for like even SG-1, not bad. But I mean, Atlantis, that's probably one of my favorite like spin-off series out there for a franchise. Like, I think they just did it so perfectly for that show. But they were talking about even doing that sort of thing for them. Interesting that they would do it right after, again, in the Atlantis time frame, if they're ignoring Universe. As for what else they had planned for San Diego Comic-Con, a number of guests were lined up, and while the guest list was not completely finalized before the strike canceled the event, of Stargate alum were hopeful attendance. This includes Amanda Tapping, Michael Shanks, Joe Flanagan, Robert Picardo, David Hewlett, Paul McGillian, Lexa Duig, and Christopher Heyerdahl. Oh, I think he was Todd the Wraith, if I remember right. I recognize a lot of the names. David Hewlett was still somebody I think would be a great Doctor Who, personally. I could think he'd be great in that role. But apparently they don't let supposedly non-Britons do it. Even though they have Scottish actors. Apparently that's all it still counts as British. Yeah.
I think they're all under the crown still.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I kind of discussing it with somebody, and they were like, "No, they're considered part of it." I'm like, okay, because I looked it up, and some of them don't consider themselves part of the crown, but some of them do. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy there. But I still think Hewlett could be great, because I think he could really play on the serious side, play on the giving techno jargon and everything. Like, I just think, because even though like his character Rodney McKay was the most insufferable snot that you first encounter in SG-1, you just wanted one of the Goulds to freaking blast him in the face and take him out. But then they bring him into Atlantis, and I just think he just like became one of the greatest characters for the Stargate series. Besides Joe Flanagan's John Shepard, also awesome. But Hewlett just surprised the shit out of me because there were some really great episodes with him, and he really just like ends up growing
Who's
on
the
you.
Irish guy? David. There was a Irish doctor. I can't think of. I'm not a Doctor Who guy. I've never watched Doctor Who a single day of my life, but there was a doctor that was Irish.
There's a couple of Scottish guys, yeah.
Maybe he was Scottish. Who are some of the Scottish ones?
One was more recently I think it was David Tennant.
David Tennant's he's the best by far. Take all the other doctors away, like he's the one. He's the guy.
He's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
I think he's Scottish. I could be wrong. Those accents all kind of blend together. Okay, so Prime Video also allegedly had a teaser video in store for the panel that would start with a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge panning down to reveal a Stargate underwater being activated. The teaser wasn't hinting at a specific story, but to build upon some hype for the new project. Well, that could have been one interesting way of kind of going, oh, hey, guess what? The Stargate is back. Thank you, Duke. Peter Capaldi. I was trying to remember him as well. And also, God, why am I forgetting his name now? The Seventh Doctor. Sylvester McCoy. I liked him. I thought he was good. I liked some of his episodes. Anyways, so the tease returns fans to the end of the Stargate Atlantis, where Atlantis lands in the Pacific Ocean near the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. And then, like I said, with one of the movies they had planned, they were going to take it to the moon. Because it's not a spoiler or anything, but the freaking Atlantis building that they are in, it has the capability for flight. They show that in the first episode. As for whether this new Prime Video show will tie in to Stargate Universe, okay, so we freaking bounding into comics knew to mention Stargate Universe. The podcast stated, according to sources, Stargate Universe. Okay, so they do mention it. Will be left out, due in part because of the cast size, as well as a bit of tricky situation dealing with David Blue, which is a shame because you can't really address Universe without the character of Eli Wallace. It's been forever since I watched Universe. I really was not a fan, so I dropped it, I think, after the first season or so. So I don't recall anything that happened in that show. The podcast said their sources did not share any information with them as to why working with Blue would be quote unquote tricky. Not only did the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike allegedly delay the announcement of this new Stargate film and limited series, but the podcast also notes that it's possible it could shelve the entire project. Well, that seems to be a lot of projects right now getting the potential shelf because of this strike going on. Again, I'm not exactly crying a river or anything, because I mean, instead of having to worry about Star Wars, I mean, if you are interested, we could start watching Stargate and review that.
I'm down.
Go through some of the old episodes and stuff. Have you seen anything of Stargate or?
No, the only Star Trek I've ever watched was with my dad.
Stargate.
Well, no, I'm just saying. The closest thing I've watched was Star Wars or Star Trek, and that's with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Right,
and I did watch Picard. Did watch like the old Next Generation.
Oh, Next Generation, yeah.
Yeah. No, not Picard. No, I haven't. But I've watched.
I was like, whoa, what?
and then what's the one with the girl captain?
That was Voyager.
I only saw Voyager because it came on after Hercules. So my sister and I would fight because she was Xena and then I was Hercules, and then Voyager would come on after Hercules. So, or I think it was maybe in between or something like that. But that's the extent of my knowledge. And then the Borg is basically like a square. is basically what I about my knowledge of Star Trek.
We'll have to.
There's
I think
lasers.
Stargate is amazing. I think you might
Do they have
enjoy it.
Lasers.
They do eventually get, like, they'll use the Gould's weapons, the Zat Nicotils, which are kind of what become their stun and kill guns and everything, and then they have the oh god, I'm forgetting some of the Jaffa War sticks. I forget what they're called exactly.
Kendo sticks.
But basically, it's like this. They are both combative. So like the staff weapon. It's like they're called. I think they just call them staff weapons that can fire laser beams or whatever, and also they use them to just whale the shit out of each other. So it is effective as a distance weapon and as a close range weapon. So they have some of those. They start, even the SG-1 crew starts adapting, especially when they have more and more encounters with the Gould. They start using more of those weaponry and stuff like that here and there. Especially, I think, like towards the end of season 1, that they definitely like adapt the Zat. They just call them Zat guns. Make it easy, because the Zat Nicotil is a bit much to say all the time. So they start calling. They start. I think it's O'Neill. This is like, cool, Zat guns. But I think you could like it, because Richard Dean Anderson's great, because he just also kind of, while he plays like at times a serious character and in that command role as Colonel Jack O'Neill and everything, but he brings his own personality, which is a little more, he kind of has those moments of bit of jokes and quips and stuff like that, but it's not like overblown or anything like that. So it's, and I this, like, probably after Star Wars, it was a series that a friend of mine got me into, and I just fell in love with it. Like, holy crap, this is great. So I think you could like it. You could.
I'm pulling it up right now. Because I'm trying to.
So yeah, while you're doing some research there, I'll also continue on with this. As a result of the ongoing strike, the waters surrounding Stargate are now murky at best. This is all one big quote. According to our sources, the strike could hit Stargate as well as the RoboCop reboot hard. Oh no! Please, not another RoboCop remake. How could we live without another one of those? The Popcast stated, quote, the timeline will be 100% be shifted, but we are told that there are several people pushing hard to make sure both projects don't end up back on the shelf. Quote, we're also being told that as Amazon began shifting focus from scripted content to non-scripted shows, planning dates will be pushed out, since non-scripted neither requires writers or actors. That's where Amazon and other studios will be going, they added. So they're going to now start getting into the whole reality show game. I mean, come on. Network television has already been doing that for a long whatever. Quote, our insiders say that if the strike isn't over by September, then everything could be delayed until as late as 2027. Oh no. They further asserted, quote, if the strike continues on to 2024, the production slate for the following year will be determined and will have to wait until end of the following year to get the ball rolling on new scripted projects like Stargate. Not only is the strike delaying any production for their Stargate plans, but it also opens up the door for original Stargate creator Brad Wright to potentially get involved in the project. Prime Video reportedly declined a previous script Wright had pitched because it did not align with their vision. Lord knows what that means. Instead, Amazon was in negotiations with the Expanse writers Mark Fergus, Hawk Ostby, and Naren Shankar. What do you make of this rumor that Prime Video was planning a new Stargate series? I hope to God that it does get shelved. I don't want Amazon touching Stargate. I don't want any company touching Stargate. It's a fan.
Well,
They
it
tried
seems
it
like
again with
anything that
another.
Amazon touches it, like it just
It turns to shit. Usually.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, man. Like, or it wasn't Lord of the Rings. What was it? It was yeah, it was Lord of the Rings, was it not?
Yeah,
and then
the
like they
Rings of
didn't have
Power.
and they didn't have the freaking rights, and so they're like, oh
Not
well,
fully, no.
well, yeah, they didn't have they didn't have full rights to it, and they're like, well, we'll just continue to make this crap, show without the rights, but we can't use Sauron, so we're just gonna change Sauron to like he's gay in the movie because they couldn't like I heard they had to like make him bisexual because they didn't have the rights and they couldn't like portray him like within the actual book or something like that, and people were like losing their like no, Amazon, just stop while you're just focus on sending people their packages.
Right.
You've got to you're doing well in that field because you got UPS or USPS.
And just get other people's content to put up on your streaming service. We don't need you to make original content.
No.
Please don't.
For whatever reason, this Stargate reminds me of like something you'd see in Halo for whatever reason. Like
I mean, that might have been where they got some ideas. Might have been either Halo, like either Stargate or
Stargate Living Gods. This dude looks like Pharaoh in space.
Living God.
Stargate System Lords, Living Gods.
Oh, the System Lords. Those are the Gaul that are basically in charge of the whole universe. They all have their different quadrants set up for themselves, and they're so originally it was one of the System Lords was Raw, and he's in the first movie. He gets known to be the
golden guy.
He was like the be all end all of all the gold. Like he was the supreme system lord basically, and they all kind of listened to him.
On this
and
cover,
then
a girl that looks like Cleopatra. This dude looks like just.
That was Hathor. She's just a regular gold leader. Was she a system lord?
And this dude looks like
I thought she was a regular like
Tom Riddle in the background.
Or like an Apophis. Oh, the one all in gold is Apophis.
Uh-huh.
He's like for the first few seasons or so, he's like the main bad guy that they're up against. He's kind of the new stand-in for Raw. But yeah, Apophis is the guy all in gold. If I'm guessing what you're looking at.
I just sent it to you.
And then there's like the one System Lord Ball who comes in much later. Anubis, who was really short-lived, and it was unfortunate too.
He's also short-lived in The Mummy too.
So yeah, I can take this. I'll be a happy camper. Just leave Stargate alone, please. I love the series too much. Don't. I mean, it won't change my love of it because I'll still rewatch the old seasons, the original SG-1 and Atlantis and everything. So, and the movie is great. It's got Kurt Russell, and James Spader. Thank you, Kurt Russell, James Spader, who basically it's funny too because Kurt Russell looks like he would have been perfect as Guile from Street Fighter. Like he had the hair, he had the physique almost. Like he could have been probably perfect if they casted him for Guile. But it's a fun movie.
This guy.
Yeah, that's Apophis.
And then who's this guy?
That's Anubis.
Why he does look like he'd be short-lived, and then that's
Hathor.
That looks interesting. This dude looks like Cisco with a whatever that thing is. His hair.
Gold cap on.
Yeah, gold cap.
Gold swimming cap.
Yeah. That's funny. He looks like an interesting character. That makes me sad.
Anubis, he really because he was meant to be the evil of evil because he took on the god of death persona. And unfortunately he just got taken out way too soon. But they were trying to rebuild up Apophis, so it was kind of a mixed bag. I was like, God dang it, we could have had this really like evil psycho, and he was supposed to be pretty talented in what he was doing too, if I remember right. So, I mean, is what it is, but it's overall still an enjoyable series. There's only I would say a few episodes where they could be considered as the subversive type of content or quote woke content for today's language, but otherwise very, very good. Very much focused on what they are, the story they are telling and stuff like that. And they mostly, if anything gets brought up for kind of knocking on politicians and stuff like that, it's very generalized. More of the all politicians are dumbasses sort of thing.
Yeah.
They take more of that.
Say rebels. But to do it.
If only we didn't have that pesky show called Ahsoka coming up.
You know what's interesting? As dated as these shows are, it's so interesting that it's like, when was the last good show that you watched that was that had a multiple season run? Like, for me specifically, well, yeah, so Stargate SG1 came out probably, I'm assuming, early 90s.
It was late 90s,
late 90s. Yeah. So, and probably, I'm assuming, fantastic, since I've heard multiple people talk about it. I mean, I've only heard, I've heard a couple people say that Battlestar Galactica is better.
The remake? I've heard good things about the remake. I'd much prefer to go back to the original.
Yeah.
And see that first and then go back and try and watch the remake. Because I tried watching the remake, but I just didn't get into it.
I can't remember if it was Guilty Cajun or Anonymous, but when I was on Jason and his stream, somebody was saying Babylon 5 was absolutely fantastic.
Babylon 5.
Not trying to
keep hearing. So many people have really said that it's good. My brother and I, we started to watch it, but there was a lot of it was it is, like I said, the heavy subversive themes and stuff like that. That was
really,
yes. We gave up on it. We stopped watching it up in we got to season 2 to 3, I think. And when they started laying in heavy with really mocking the Mars colony that only wanted basically to be left alone, they wanted their which I kind of took as their allegory for the South. They just wanted to be basically, they wanted to secede from Earth.
Yeah,
they wanted to just be independent. And then they have the people that are the heavy Earth nationalists that then they are basically portraying as Nazis. They got the armbands and everything, and being unruly dickheads, but they are being portrayed as the nationalists, the Earth nationalists. How dare you be love for your planet? So with stuff like that going on, my brother and I, we just kind of tapped out. Because I mean, just think about it today. Today it would be a bunch of MAGA hat wearing people, or just the red caps and stuff like that. Instead of the armbands, they'd be all wearing red caps, and this is Earth country sort of thing,
We don't take kindly to your kind around here.
Right, exactly. So I gave it a fair shot. We got through like I said, 2-3.5 seasons maybe of it. And I know that I think we were getting close to the end. Because it was a 4 or 5 season run, and it didn't have a whole lot of episodes. So we were getting through it, but it was just we kind of saw the writing on the wall personally.
Yeah.
Maybe we're hyper sensitive to it. I don't know. But that was how we were seeing things, and we were no, done. There were some okay moments from it and stuff, but we just tapped out.
Yeah.
So, now there's another show I'm gonna have to go back to and check out again. Is Farscape. Farscape's what I remember was being pretty good, kind of wacky, especially towards the end of it. Huh?
Which one is this one?
Farscape It was, I think it's like an Australian production too, but this was another old 90s sci-fi show. The thing that started to get me really into it was that first when I was watching, I'm like, the aliens, there's something about them. Like they looked good, like because you could tell they were practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something about this. What's going on? So I paid attention to like the after credits and stuff like that. Jim Henson's Creature Workshop. I'm like, aha! That's why the puppetry looks so goddamn good. Because because Jim Henson Company was doing the puppetry and the practical alien effects and stuff like that. I was like, that explains it all because they always did a fantastic job. So like I said, like that series got really, as I recall, really kind of out there towards the end of its run. But I'm gonna have to give it another shot just to see what that one was like. Yes, like Bradley points out, Ben Browder and Claudia Black both joined SG-1 after Farscape. Yeah. And did you play Dragon Age?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No, I know the game.
Because Claudia Black voiced one of my favorite characters in that. But yeah, Ben Browder, he's popped around on a few things. He even made an appearance in a Doctor Who episode. So a short time in that episode, but it was good while he was there. But he comes in like season 9 and kind of takes over for Richard Dean Anderson's Jack O'Neill. And I'm gonna have to rewatch those last 2 seasons again just to kind of see how I feel about that. Yeah, Chiefster. Yeah, that's why I say we might have to rewatch it just to see, because like he says, sadly they joined for some of the worst seasons somewhat, because they got into this whole thing with what they called the Ori.
How many seasons weird was this thing?
Stargate SG-1 was a full 10 seasons, and then they had like 4 or 5
like 10
movies.
10. Okay, so it's like $10 a season. I can get it for $99. So
yeah, so even Duke Devil's like the Ori were not great. No, I don't remember them being so. They were kind of a weird thing, because like it was like we were used to the Goulds, who were these aliens that used ancient figures from Earth to play as being gods, but like these guys were like basically like they had superpowers and stuff like that. Got kind of weird.
Is it better than Legends of Tomorrow, DC?
Oh, infinitely.
What?
That show was bad.
Bruh, the dude that
I'm sorry, but come on.
Yeah.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but
I will say this. I do like the actor who played Vandal Savage. I don't know where he's from. I can't figure out his accent, but he's a pretty good actor.
Was that from one of the later seasons? Because I think I only watched the first season.
No,
of that
he's in
show,
the first. He's in the first. No, he's in the first season, but I forget who the actor was. Let's look it up. But yeah, it's not very. Is it better than the Flash?
Are you talking the whole of the SG-1, or are you talking about those last couple of seasons?
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole shebang.
I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna say that SG-1 takes the cake.
Better than Flash?
Yeah, Flash was only good for 1 to 2 seasons at best.
Okay.
And then it turned into Feelings in Hallways and stuff.
Okay. Arrow then. That's a good one. Arrow.
Oh, easily. Come on. They turned freaking Deathstroke into a love-struck puppy. Go, Shadow. Come on, dude. That was bad.
That has gone. That line has gone down in infamy. Everybody's like, Shadow. Casper
it was so unfortunate because they got the costume fucking down pat. He looked awesome.
It was,
and then all the while he's shouting Shadow, being this big whiny
Well,
crybaby
if
bitch.
somebody killed your honey boo boo, you'd probably do the same thing.
They didn't even have a relationship.
Yet. Yet.
She was loving on Arrow. On freaking Green Arrow.
So
speaking of DC.
Oh yeah, let's go into this next one. Because I just can't stand this guy.
Speaking of DC.
Yeah, I apologize if anybody in here is a fan of this guy, but he's just...
Dwayne Johnson blames new leadership for DC scrapping his plans for Black Adam. Throws out identity politics card. Okay, this was a question posed on the spacing last night. Who would you say is the bigger probably star at this point? Dwayne Johnson or Dave Bautista? Like, who would you probably take one over
Dave,
the
because
other?
he can at least keep his mouth shut at times.
He's opened his mouth up recently with some things here and there, but I don't. Yeah, he has. He's had a few moments of it, but putting that aside, so you'd go Dave Bautista.
I would, but
I
don't know. I just don't
just on the fact that he doesn't. But then I'm not totally familiar with his WWE persona, just because I haven't. I wasn't watching for that time. But he at least, and also like especially when he got the Guardians of the Galaxy role, as I had heard, he like went and made sure and got acting lessons and stuff like that. Like he wanted to make sure he was ready.
Yeah.
But The Rock, Dwayne Johnson always just seems to he's The Rock in his roles. And like I heard for Black Adam, like the best part was Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, absolutely. Pierce Brosnan is a fantastic actor.
Oh, absolutely. But that's when a side character or whatever is outshining your lead. Damn, that's not good.
Bro, I was going around saying that they should have had Danny Glover as Black Adam. Would have been better. And they could have had Mel Gibson as Dr. Fate. That's a blockbuster hit. That's a blockbuster hit right there.
So Static was saying Dave is a much bigger moron. Duke, it said Batista seems to actually try to learn how to act. The Rock is really good on screen when he's paired with Kevin Hart. I was unaware of this.
He's good he's good, and he's also good on screen when he's with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, you see, I think he's more just kind of built for that wrestling ring, and that's not.
He's not a good actor, dude. He's not a good actor.
Bad thing.
He was decent in Ballers. Did you ever watch Ballers?
I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
So he was decent in that, but he's just a bad actor, man. There's a difference between somebody talking crap with a mic, and the whole, and you have to remember this was back when he was at his height, man. This is where that's when wrestling was good. Wrestling is not, in my opinion. Now Tim's gonna kill me, but like I don't think wrestling is good at this point in time compared to like the Attitude Era, right?
Well, I think that just has such a build up at this point. It's gonna be tough to ever outshine the Attitude Era. That just was raised on such.
I mean, my goodness, we would go to school on Tuesdays, and we'd be like, WWF, get the F out, and then or we would. It was different. So I don't know. Credit to Dave for going out and getting acting lessons. Now I don't.
Yeah,
The Rock has never ever got any acting lessons because he thinks he's God's gift to man and he doesn't need it. Right? This is the same guy.
He thinks he can keep going to Vince for
because nothing's more important than family, right? you know. But this is this. I mean, and I have issues with this guy, obviously, because this is the same guy that says he's more popular than Jesus, and he has more followers than Jesus. And this was a legit like quote from this guy. He was at the gym and he said this. So like, I have my issues with this guy. Like, he was a terrible Black Adam. Hobbs is the dumbest character ever. Like, he's just stupid lifting heavy stuff. Like, just a dumb big brute, man.
Yeah.
And shame on James.
He just keeps doing the same look.
And like James Gunn, like, I'm pretty sure Gunn came in after this, but like, what are you know, it's like, just scrap it. Like, at the time, I could be wrong, but from what I read and researched, DC had enough money. Warner Brothers had enough money to basically do this movie, right? So this had to be a make or break it movie. I think they had technically enough money for like 2 movies, but like this had to have been like a make or break, you know, make it break it for him. And you choose The Rock, like, and I understand, like, you can make the argument, well, he's the biggest actor in the world.
Yeah, like
America.
he definitely has a presence, he has charisma, but he just doesn't have the acting ability to back it up.
Stupid.
He's done like a few things that I think for him, he really needs somebody to maybe play off of for certain things, but
yeah,
otherwise,
it's bad. It's disrespectful that you bring Pierce Brosnan in for like a C-level character. Like, Dr. Fate is obviously within DC.
Well,
like,
I mean, you could take a C-level character and elevate them. I mean, that's what they did. That's what they did with like Iron Man and stuff like that, who were kind of B tier characters, but thanks to the actors that they certainly put into those roles, elevated them to a new level.
Give me John Bodega. Give me John Bodega. I'll take John Bodega as Black Adam. My goodness, like, and that's the other thing, like the character of Black Adam was Middle Eastern. Like, he was Egyptian, if I'm not mistaken. I now look this up, man, because I don't want to misspeak, because I'm supposed to be the DC guy. So Phil, that's why
you the DC.
I'm pretty.
Okay,
Yeah, he's not black. Black Adam was not black. I'll tell you that. Phil, that's why I looked this up.
Yeah. So Dwayne Johnson, who played Black Adam in DC Films' Black Adam movie, recently put the blame on new leadership as the reason why his plans for the character in DC were scrapped.
Okay, really quick. So Black Adam, debut Marvel Family #1, December 1945. Kandak is where his base was. Teth Adam, obviously. Yeah, brown eyes, black hair. Where the hell is this dude's hair at? He might be black, but he ain't got no hair. He ain't got no black hair. No black hair.
Yeah, he kind of lost it, didn't he?
Now, they can say, well, he had black hair when he had hair. It's like, okay, well, he didn't in the movie. The Wizard, Shazam granted noble Kentucky youth Amen, the God's power to avenge his family, save the oppressed people, blah, 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 blah. Keep going. I'll find. I mean, it tells where he's from.
Yeah. Yeah, even Duke Devil said Black Adam was from Kandak, I thought, fictional northern African country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Johnson appeared on Peacock's Heart to Heart with Kevin Hart, who asked him, quote, "I want to know why, especially when there's such a successful opening. You seem to have an appetite from your fan base for me. What's the reason or reasons for the stopping of Black Adam?" Johnson responded, quote, "I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership. And at that time, we were creating Black Adam, developing it, shooting Black Adam. We got knocked down a little bit because of COVID, and the shutdowns got back up." Further quoted, "There were many changes in leadership," Johnson continued, "and as you know, anytime you have a company, but especially that size and magnitude, that's publicly traded company, and you have all those changes in leadership, you have people coming in who creatively, fiscally are going to make decisions that you may or may not agree with philosophically. Okay. He then reiterated, quote, so I think Black Adam was one of those movies that got caught in that web of new leadership. And that will always be one of the biggest mysteries. I think not only for me and us on our end, but also throughout our business, because that's a Kevin question. That was a question out of Wall Street. That was a question out of Hollywood. You gonna bite the hand that feeds you there a little bit? Johnson then posited all the things he had going in favor for the film and noted how it did not get a release in China. Quote, like, wait a second, you had the biggest opening of your career. Sure, no, China. That could have been maybe 100, maybe 200 more million. You're establishing a new superhero. You want to grow out the new franchise. You bring back Superman and Henry Cavill. The world went crazy. I believe they didn't even actually officially do that. That was all
what?
Rock.
I was researching what.
Yeah, it was all The Rock suddenly saying, "Oh, we're gonna have a Henry Cavill Superman teaser."
No,
which was like the one draw for that movie was like everybody was like, "Oh, let's see the cameo appearance of Cavill and Superman."
The CEO of Warner Brothers told Henry Cavill back in November to like announce his return, and then James Gunn took over, or so then. Yeah, so he told him to announce his return, which he put on a tweet, from my understanding, and then because this whole like Snyderverse, man, like it's a cult following. Like, you can make the argument, you can make the argument, you can make the argument that like, oh well, it was better than the original because it gave more depth to the characters, but then the other side of the argument is like, well, you butchered some of it, but the depth that you gave to these characters was all fine and good, but then you butcher other characters. Like Darkseid is my favorite outside Batman. Like Batman's obviously my favorite, but like villain wise, it's like it would go like probably Darkseid and then Joker. It's a toss up. Like Darkseid's one of my favorite, and he absolutely just screwed the pooch with Darkseid. Like that is the Darkseid we got in like the Snyderverse.
You're talking about the one from the Snyder cut version of Justice League?
Absolutely.
I haven't watched that version. I haven't watched either version. So I
would equate it to like the Thanos within comics, to like what you got this humanitarian type thing in the Avenger movies. Like they just portrayed him just wrong. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents on the whole matter. But what else was I gonna say? And then basically getting rid of Cavill, but now there, and I couldn't find the I need to find the tweet, but now there's rumors that they're canceling Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was like I heard one of the fastest turnarounds where Gal Gadot came out and said, "Oh yeah, we're working and planning on working on a Wonder Woman 3," and then is either James Gunn or somebody else that instantly came out and said, "No, we're not."
Yep, no, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Which honestly, like
but that's just what I heard. I haven't looked into it, so I can't confirm.
It went on probably after the Snow White comment, man.
Possibly, but or just in general, they're cleaning house. But they want to get ready for this whole James Gunn thing, and they are starting brand new.
Man. This is my issue with it, because they didn't get rid of, like, they kept Ezra Miller, and that whole movie was absolutely just just dog water. Like, my hope was that they, I could sleep better at night knowing that they got rid of Ezra Miller and maybe brought in like Wally West, right? Like, I could have lived with that, man. But and I didn't see the movie. And I'm not going to see the movie. But from what I've been told, I don't understand how it resets any of the universe whatsoever. They brought George Clooney back in. The worst.
I heard more context for that he was basically the universe that Barry was in, the Batman now. I'm like, what the hell? Why would what? What?
I mean,
Huh?
listen, for years, I said I hated George Clooney because what he did to the role of Batman. But I hate him less now because he came out and he's like,
Oh,
yeah,
that wasn't his fault.
No, but well, it was. But he came out and he said, yeah, I should never have taken that role. I was like, thank you for admitting it. I still hate you. No, I don't hate that. But they brought him in. And then the best Batman, right? Because God rest Adam West can't, he God rest his soul.
Yeah, unfortunately, he can't come back.
They bring in Michael Keaton, but this whole thing is he should have had his. And where was Christian Bale? Where was Christian Bale? If you look at the,
I remember hearing that Christian Bale is supposed to make an appearance.
Yeah, when you look at,
more rumors.
Right, when you do when you do your list, right, at Batman, it's Adam West, Adam West. And Michael Keaton and Christian Bale are like right up with 1 and 2, right?
Right.
But they're not gonna do it because I don't even know where I was going on it because you got me on the whole Ezra Miller thing and I just can't stand him. He's just terrible. And
He's
then
a twisted little
and then
ferret.
shame on DC, man, because you will never ever beat Marvel. In the movies, Marvel they have them. Well, I don't know. After Eternals, I've heard that Marvel's just not very good, and then Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah. Why didn't we get Grant Gustin in the multiverse scene?
They should have,
because even Ezra Miller appeared in an episode of The Flash.
Right. So,
right.
But you had an opportunity, or you have an opportunity to produce a good movie, and then you just get crap actor like this guy. Who is this guy? This Hawkman. Hawkman. This is who the guy is. Hold on, let me get my encyclopedia because this guy, I'm pretty sure he was also. I don't want to speak filibust. This is a big encyclopedia, by the way. I don't know.
Let me continue with the article then. He then threw down the identity. Now here we're getting to the meat of it. He then threw down the identity politics card, and also too, you were texting me this on opening weekend. We created a diverse superhero portfolio where we had just men and women of color, in Black Adam 2 as well. Lord, dude. Later in the interview, Johnson added, I think as business-minded, you and I, who are always thinking audience first, we look at and respect the line economically, but also when you think about opportunity and creating things that are fresh and delivering for the audience, which is our number one boss, when that wasn't look at through that lens, it makes things a little bit more challenging. I think for guys like you and I, where you go, are you sure you want to do this? Furthering, but hey, at the end of the day, you know what it is? It's like new ownership coming in, buying an NFL team and going, all right, not my head coach, not my quarterback. Doesn't matter how many times you won the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how many rings we got. I'm going with somebody else, he concluded. Black Adam had a domestic opening weekend of $67 million, according to the numbers. The film went on to gross $168.1 million domestically and another $223.1 million internationally, for a global gross of $391 million. The film's DVD and Blu-ray sales have totaled $6.5 million in sales domestically. The movie reportedly had production budget of $200 million, which means on the conservative end, the movie needed to gross at least $500 million to break. Using this conservative estimate as the break-even point, the film lost Warner Brothers Pictures around $65.2 million, so Black Adam lost money. That sucks.
Yeah, they would have had to have done. Yeah, they would have had to
Back in January, an anonymous source informed Variety that Johnson's plan for DC and Black Adam were scrapped due to these box office losses. The source said his demands increased and the returns just weren't there. He really seems to have I guess this probably came from Vince and wrestling, that he has a very inflated self-ego. But that's actors in general too, right? They think their worth is much higher than it.
He thought he was going to take over DC through this whole thing. and then James Gunn came. And maybe Vince was like, maybe Vince gave, like nobody will know unless Vince comes on and says it, but maybe Vince gave Rock, and The Undertaker and Triple H some of the power, like, because these guys were like top of the game, like, and Triple H has like said, that,
gave like creative control here and there and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, Mark Calloway was for the, I mean, he just,
but he's like, he was WWE diehard. Like he wasn't going anywhere.
No, man. Like all these guys go to, AEW and WWE and WCW and all, and then like he's always stayed. He's never gone anywhere.
Yeah, he was like, for WCW, that was Sting.
Yeah, Sting.
And Undertaker was that for WWE.
You know what irritates me about this article? I don't know how much longer we have, but I just want to throw this out here that he's crying.
Hey, throw it out.
It's like he's crying because he's like, well, they scrapped my movie and my plans. Like, it wasn't profitable. It wasn't profitable. You just said it would have had to make $500 million.
That's the bottom line.
and because Stone Cold said so. Like, they did 60. Was it whatever it was, 65 million, whatever it did domestically. What did it say?
Opening weekend was 67 million. Domestically was 168 million.
Yeah, it's like nowhere near what they would have had to make to break even or even to be profitable. But even if they were, that's just a dumb investment to do, because it was so bad. What are you gonna do? Like the only saving grace. And like I said, I personally enjoyed Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought he did a pretty good job, decently, all things considered, right? Like I that's just
I never watched Man of Steel, but I mean, like, people loved him in that role.
Maybe,
so,
and
he does have the look. He has the look and everything. Yeah, so
I'm biased. He loves World of Warcraft. I think
and that's been also a big thing, is that he's a huge nerd.
Yeah,
so that's earned a lot of people's favor too.
But it just is another thing that shows the stupidity of Warner Brothers right now. Because how are you going to have a cameo of Henry Cavill and and Black Adam kind of squaring up, and then you just like, well, we're shutting down the Snyderverse, or we're basically, you're no longer gonna be Superman, and then Gal Gadot, you're not gonna be Wonder Woman anymore. Like, I understand.
Like even Dwayne here says, new owner comes in, getting rid of the people that came there before and got them where they are.
That's not even like okay.
He's cleaning house to make room for his Zack Snyder had his chance, and now it's fucking James Gunn's.
But the other argument is like, did he really have a fair shake though, Snyder? Which it's whatever, you can argue.
I mean, that could be debated,
right? I was like, well, we gave you half a chance, and like it didn't live up to whatever. But if you're gonna reset everything, then freaking reset it, man. Get rid of Ezra Miller, get rid of Henry Cavill, get rid of Gal Gadot, get rid of Ben Affleck, get rid of all the. If you're gonna do it, then do the thing, right?
I think some people are now starting to get their pink slips. They're just trying to make what money they can out of the movies and stuff that have already been filmed. Some of them, they aren't willing to take any chance on, like the Batgirl movie that completely got canceled.
Absolute, yeah, that whole thing. Ugh, yeah. So it's stupid. I don't understand. It's just doltishness. It's just like you're. Oh God. And they could have done. And like I said, like, I'm not like, even if I'm trying to sit here and think, like, could Black Adam have been good? Like, what could, and honestly, as much as I love DC, I will be a DC fan until the day I die, right? But I don't think there's anything they could have done to make it better, because they can't seem to freaking, it's like Marvel. They can't hire anybody that knows how to write. Like, maybe Nolan, maybe Nolan could do something, right? But like he had his fun with his 3 movies and he was done.
Yeah, well, because he had the story he apparently wanted to tell, and so yeah, he got in, got out.
Which his story should have just ended at the second one, because we don't talk about the third one, Dark Knight Rises. But, you know, like it's just funny that like it doesn't matter which studio you go to or which company you go to. It just seems like this is the culture that we live in, which we're just producing just crap movies, and then the movies that are good, that have good morals and good values, are like then they get canceled, or you can't do that because they're racist, or like whatever it is. It's just dumb,
right?
It's just dumb. And Marvel's the same way, right? I talk crap on Marvel. I make it a point to talk crap on Marvel every chance I get because I don't like Marvel. It's dumb. Like it's dumb. They got a bunch of charity cases over there. Don't like them, right? but I had to talk crap on DC because DC, like, it's the same. Like we watched Jason, like I said, 2-3 weeks ago, I was on his podcast. We watched the trailer for like the Marvels, whatever the new movie is coming out.
God,
I was like, one, it was tough to get through because one, I'm not a Marvel fan, but two, like I'm trying to in my mind piece this timeline together. I had a hard enough. I had just I can't. I'm having a stroke. I had a hard time trying to figure out that timeline as I did the Mandalorian timeline, because they're both jacked.
But that's especially rough considering, as far as I know, the last Marvel movie you watched was like Endgame and shit.
Yeah,
you asked me to watch those last 2.
Yeah.
You're like, I need your opinion on this too.
Yeah,
like, all right,
that was
fine.
absolutely the last one I watched.
And so you are really out of the loop on anything that's going on.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, your confusion with that series.
My brain turned to mush when I found out that the cat scroll thing was the reason why freaking Samuel L. Jackson is missing an eye. I thought he got into battle with like Thanos or some type of, like he
something
was on
actually like
he was with Hawkeye or
something actually meaningful or something.
Yeah, he got shot in the eye from
cat.
like a bullet.
Cat.
It was a freaking cat. And then this guy's making out with one. Not a cat, like the thing.
Yeah, the scroll, yeah.
Like and this is Samuel L. Jackson. He should be saying, "Not today, mofo." Like, but yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a crying shame.
Like, is it just me? Like, what was the last good Marvel movie that you watched? I'd say Phase 1. Like, as much as I hate Marvel, I've heard Iron Man was good.
I've heard Guardians 3 is good. I haven't watched it yet. People don't all count Spider-Man No Way Home. Well, people don't count Spider-Man No Way Home because that was technically Sony too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
you can make the argument though, who has the rights? So who produced the movie and who has the rights and who did the leg
Sony still holds the rights, and they were
it's kind of like
partnership to make that.
It was kind of like Spielberg and Lucas. Like Spielberg got credit for the movie, but like it was very heavily Lucas influenced or something like that. I forget what movie it was. We were talking about it, weren't we? Wasn't there a movie like where it was like heavily, or maybe I don't remember. I thought there was a movie that like Spielberg got the credit for, but like it was very, I don't know.
There's been a few of those, but
anyways, but it's just, yeah.
So let me get through it.
Yeah.
No worries. Not only did this anonymous source claim Johnson's plans were scrapped, but Variety's Tatiana Siegel reported that Johnson directly pitched CEO David Zaslav on a multi-year plan for Black Adam and a Cavill-led Superman, in which the two properties would interweave, setting up a Superman versus Black Adam showdown. This reportedly ruffled feathers at Warner Brothers, who did not like Johnson going straight to Zaslav with his plans. He thought he could pull a Vince. On top of the box office losses, Variety also noted that Johnson did little to promote the animated DC League of Super Pets film, despite demanding a producing credit, and that he also insisted on using the Black Adam premiere to promote his tequila brand Teremana.
That's interesting
so-
too, because isn't that whole pet thing? Isn't that a Universal property?
I don't know.
Like a Universal movie? I thought so.
I would think the DC guy here would know.
That's what I'm saying. Because I went to Universal Studios when I was on vacation, and they had a pets ride, and I looked at it, it's like, this reminds me of the DC movie, so I was very curious. Maybe they collaborated together or something. I don't know.
Possibly. DC League of Super Pets had a 93.6 million domestic gross and another 110 million international for global gross of 203.8 million. That film had an estimated production budget of 90 million, meaning it needed to gross 225 million to break even. It did not, and thus resulted in around $12.6 million loss. What do you make of Johnson's explanation for why his plans for Black Adam and DC were scrapped? I think he's trying to play a bit of the victim card, but otherwise, I didn't think he's full of shit and really just switched gears on the narrative.
And that's the other thing. Like, he doesn't need money either. Like, he's the richest, one of the richest actors out there. You're just mad because it got scrapped, but it was scrapped because it was justifiably scrapped. It made no money. It took a loss. For Warner, I would literally raise this place to the ground if they came out and said, like, we're going to do a Black Adam 3 or we're going to do a Black Adam 2 after losing all that money.
Well, and just not putting out a good movie to begin with, too.
There's somebody at work was like, oh, what do you mean this is the greatest movie of all time? This is a great movie. I'm like, you are literally like not intelligent right now. This is not a good movie. There's nothing about this movie that's great. This movie is trash. I could watch a trash movie and work with it. This is just asinine. Just bad. Like, if I could learn how to like edit movies, I would literally take this movie as a whole, cut everything out, and just leave the parts of Dr. Fate. And it would be somewhat, tolerable. That's the only reason why it's tolerable, is because Dr. Fate. And if they were smart, they would have maybe explored Dr. Fate's like that character a little bit more. Then Black Adam, like, yeah, Black Adam's supposed to be the main character, but like your story's just garbage. Absolutely is. Oh god, just bad, man.
Yeah, you could have subverted their expectations by saying,
and this is the problem
Black
with
Adam and focused on somebody else.
This is the problem with The Rock, though, because he inserts himself. Like, there's no variance with his characters. They're all the same. They're big, muscle, dumb, lifting. Like, it's the same thing over and over again. Whether it's Fast and the Furious, or it's the Scorpion King, or if it's Black Adam, or if it's like it's the same character. There's no difference, right? That's why freaking Oppenheimer was so amazing in regards to like Robert Downey Jr. because for 10 plus years he was Iron Man, right? So he was Iron Man, so you could tell that's his character, Tony Stark, right? And then you go to like Sherlock Holmes, right? They're like. There's a difference between the obviously the roles that you play, but you can tell there's a difference within the actor itself, right? Robert Downey. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like there.
No, I get what you're saying.
You know what
like,
I mean?
You can actually,
but like with
see
The
the
Rock,
separation of each character between each character.
Right. Though with The Rock, it's literally like
it's
you
just
could take the character that he played in like Scorpion King and The Mummy, and you could put him in freaking Fast and Furious, and it's the same dumb character. I'm trying to really not be biased. Like I'm not talking about the guy in general, even though like he irritates me. Like his acting skills they're just like a Rock could do better than The Rock. Like there's no difference.
There's something left to be desired there. Like he could use some acting lessons, perhaps. Like maybe work
like,
on your craft a little bit more. Is it like for some things? Yes, you can go in and improv. You can go in and Like they
Which is
used
what
to
he-
back in
what
the day
he's
for
been
WWE
doing
and
for-
stuff, where they used to do their own promos,
I'll
and they
tell
can
you,
really
yeah.
think off the top of their head in improv. But
He's good
with
at improv.
with some of the acting and stuff like that, you need to kind of hone that craft a bit.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. He is good at improv. There was a skit between him and Stone Cold where they're he's singing a Jimmy Buffett song because Stone Cold is a big Jimmy Buffett fan, and you could tell that it was not scripted. It was a tit for tat type thing. So he's great at improv. He's great at trash talking, like jabroni and all that. But like when it comes to acting, man, like you've got to like it's an art, man. That's why I love like Sir Ian McDiarmid. He's a theater guy. He came from the English theater. So Sir Patrick Stewart came from the theater. Oh my goodness, guy who played Count Dooku, Christopher. Who played
Christopher Lee?
Christopher Lee is from the theater. And again, like Western and Eastern, like I get it, right? Like Western acting versus I'm going to use the term.
Well, and that's
Britain
also
and
like a lot of those guys. Yeah, you mentioned like a lot
Shakespeare.
of British actors and
Yes.
stuff like that. Like practically all of them spent time in theater.
Yeah, Cillian.
That's how they
Murphy.
learned how to project their voice and stuff like that. So.
Cillian Murphy, like all these guys, who it's just So it sounds like I'm ranting. I'm attacking him individually. Like, yeah, like I may not. Yeah, I know. I never do.
You make sense to me. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just a crybaby, is what he is, man. It's like you didn't get your way. Maybe if you, I don't know, produce something worth, while then. I'm passionate about DC, man. It just irritates me when you come out with a movie that's just trash, and then you get mad because you can't, like, your plans got scrapped.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like, it's just dumb. Like, on what basis are you upset?
100%. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately, these are the people that are currently in charge of some of our favorite hobbies and fandoms and stuff like that. And it's only going to take time before we can maybe get some semblance of normalcy.
It's like what you said. Kill the movie. Kill the gaming industry for a couple months. Set fire to it and set fire to DC and Marvel, and maybe just
raise it to the ground.
I don't know, man.
No, that's the most. Yeah, that's the most extreme way of going about it. And
I don't think so, man. I don't think it's ever gonna get any better because this is, like I said, it's the culture we live in, and this is what, like, at the end of the day, every single movie that is released has either a message or whatnot.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that's why like I've been reinforcing the idea for gaming. It's like, yeah, we've got mountains of treasure troves of stuff to go back to. We've got, and for movies and TV, it's the same way. We've got a backlog that or even just to rewatch, you can go back and rewatch all that old stuff. Like Bradley was saying, Duke Devil was saying earlier, he's gonna do like rewatches of Star Trek and Stargate. You got all that stuff, all that content there, and there's plenty of stuff I haven't seen. Like myself, like I've said this before on the, especially when we first started this podcast, stream, whatever. I grew up mostly with Godzilla movies and stuff like that, and Star Wars. But I had mostly been like a Godzilla and some Ninja Turtles kid. I missed on some movies, so I know there's like The Princess Bride, Crystal Skull, not Crystal. God, what is that? The David Bowie one.
Labyrinth.
Dark Crystal.
Oh, I think meant Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. I think that was it.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of old movies that I need to go back to and start checking out. Like recently, I got through all of the Man with No Name westerns. I just watched for a few dollars more. I went out of sequence.
Mm.
So especially like my brother and I, we first watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think that one is probably the most recognizable, especially for like the music and stuff like that. That was definitely, at least that's always the one that I think I feel like it's referenced most and stuff like that. And and so we started with that one, and then went to the first movie, which was, I'm getting the name right now, Fistful of Dollars. And then, like it was, over my 2 days off, I watched For a Few Dollars More. And like even Tim from the Spacing was especially recommending that one. He says it's the best of the three. And yeah, I think I have to agree. It probably was the best of the three. Of course, Clint Eastwood is the boss. He's great in it. Lee Van Cleef, fantastic. He just has also that 1,000-yard stare and
Hanging
gives off
high.
this present as he just gives his presence as the guy you don't want to mess with. So like they were, and then like they kind of partner up and everything. I thought it was a really great movie. It's kind of also like a bit of a revenge flick that you learn throughout the movie. So I thought that and like I said, there's tons of old stuff to go back to and watch. So like it was, I'm still going through a lot of the Bond movies. I have to get those back on my computer and start picking back up. I was on, God, I forgot it. Not Timothy Dalton. It was after Connery's last. Oh, I'm forgetting his name now. Hang on. I'll get the name. There's so many people that have portrayed Bond over the freaking years.
Check your Twitter.
Check my Twitters.
I'm just tagged in something about to break my computer.
I saw that floating around.
Did you? Okay, I didn't know if you already did.
But we can discuss that because that's gonna be like one of the next things we go into. It's finally that trailer. But let me get the Roger Moore. We're on the Roger Moore era of Bond films.
Oh yes.
So got to get through those. Got to get back into that. I'll probably stop after Pierce Brosnan because I didn't like. I saw, was it Craig Daniels took over for Pierce Brosnan? I saw Casino Royale. It was okay. I just didn't care much for it. That's where I'll probably stop is after Pierce Brosnan for those. But so yeah, like I said, tons of old stuff. You can certainly go through if you haven't, or just rewatch. You like them, go back and check them out. And especially like for myself too, like I'm gonna probably check out some movies I remember, which I have done, that I loved as a kid. But then upon watching it as I'm older, I'm like, ugh. Kind of saw it for a new light, which I think we've kind of talked about too. Look, quitter. You watch every Maloney is directing the next one. Oh God. Let me get through some of these chats here. I kind of let it build up a bit for some. You booted up Baldur's Gate. God dang you, Static. You better have at least gotten it off the seas. Duke saying Static couldn't bear to get another day without playing Baldur's 3. Oof. I think Hobbs is the Rock in real life, says Static. I hear so many good things about how the game is made. I have to check it out, and my inner tech nerd is dying. Also, okay. Yarr. Okay, so Duke was helping fill that in. Chiefster saying, I mean, he's a wrestling actor, so I won't judge too harshly, but he's no Rowdy Piper on an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger. I mean, Walker, Texas Ranger was peak. So
absolutely fantastic.
Supposedly, The Rock did not want Zach Levi's Shazam, to show up in the movie, even though Black Adam is a Shazam Captain Marvel bad guy. I was gonna say I thought they were enemies.
What?
So how do you between Captain Marvel and Black Adam? How do you not have them intersect?
Right.
You didn't like bat nipples? Says Schuster. Wookiee bat nips are tasty. Oof. Why didn't we see? Okay, yeah, we got that one. Carter Hall is Hawkman, which I think goes back to what we're talking about for that. Static. I need elevator wrench permissions. Wookiee is walking the line there with his bat nips comments. Maybe it's there. It isn't good enough writers for the amount of content they want to put out. Yeah. Don't worry. You can figure out what's happening in the upcoming The Marvels by watching Miss Marvel tonight on ABC. Are you getting some Marvel money there, Duke? They're paying you to shill their shows? Huh? Static. Like really good would be Civil War. Oh wait, no, I did watch some of that one. It was okay. I still think they jumped the shark going to that one, considering the event in the comic book they had the actors there that they needed, and the movie they didn't. Because like the whole thing kicking off Civil War, I think you needed the mutants and stuff like that. They just kind of forced it into action. And one of the big moments, especially since Spider-Man guy, they didn't have it. They couldn't have it because they didn't have Spider-Man built up yet. He just got thrown into the movie. So last good Marvel movie was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like I said, I had to see that still. But he says, but it was a drought before that. Infinity War was decent. I found both of them kind of boring. Like my brother and I watched them. I think my brother watched it with me. But it was just kind of meh. I need to watch a real copy of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 before I make final decision on that. I like the story. Thing is Secret Life of Pets. Schuster, I think it's because they racist. Old Rock Johnson there thinking he's got the answers. Could do that pretty easily. RDJ is just good. He is. He's good at what he does. Even though now he's gotten all like malnourished looking and shit. Because of that vegan diet crap. We get hashtag Filoni trending when Ahsoka drops. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be pretty. That it'll be along with Ahsoka, oh no, felony. If only, that'd be kind of great. Zach Levi, greater than Dwayne Johnson. I haven't seen Shazam. I heard it was good, but I just never saw that one. Did you see Shazam?
Yeah, I was not a fan of Shazam. I don't like the actor that played him or portrayed him.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
You weren't big on Zach Levy, huh?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. Wow. Bit of a difference there.
You liked him?
I did. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what you're
probably
getting
better
for
than
Christmas now.
probably better than The Rock, right?
Yeah, probably.
Chuck is a fun series. Okay, I've heard of it. I think I've heard of Chuck. That Zach Levi as a person seems much closer to a normal human than most Hollywood. I mean, that's not a high bar to get around, though. Just to be a normal human being, but I mean, yeah. At least that. But I mean, like he said a few. He's gotten away with a few things. Okay, shall we get into this Ahsoka thing?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Oh, pumped.
Let's go, Schuster. Did you make your brother watch this yet?
No, I haven't.
Where's he at? He needs to watch this.
Bad enough. I'm not gonna torture him right now. I'll maybe get him later with it. Later. There we go. We're already starting off promising. We got Sabine with her lesbo haircut and holding a lightsaber. Yay.
Concentrate. Take in all that is around you.
So already we do have her training Sabine here. And it looks like she's wearing a mask. So, Wookiee, I guess you are going to be right. He's going to be force sensitive. It's unless they explain it in some other way. Yeah, kind of like what Static says here. Pissed me off so much that they're ripping off A New Hope like that. Training on a spaceship and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go again. I have reason to believe the Empire is still a threat. We face another war. Let's begin.
Ahsoka Tano, Anakin spoke highly of you.
That is still the bugging thing about this, though. Like,
how does he know him?
What connection does he have to Anakin?
It's like it obviously made sense when Dooku said it to Obi-Wan. He's like, Qui-Gon always spoke highly of you, but there was a connection.
Oh,
like,
God! I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, when Dooku says, he's like, there's a pity that our paths never crossed before, Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you.
Oh, man.
They had never met, but obviously Qui-Gon and him, obviously. But like this, like, what is the connection? He's not even a Sith.
Right.
He's not even a Sith, and he's not a Jedi. So what is he?
Well, and
Great Jedi.
My money is that Inquisitor is Ezra. I have this suspicion too, but I guess we'll see what actually does pan out. Wasn't Anakin like 50 when he died? Well, nobody knew Anakin was around anymore. They all just knew Vader. And yeah, Vader was just a screen name at the office as Anakin. No, nobody was supposed to know Anakin was Darth Vader. And the only one that even in their canon found out or deduced it was Thrawn in one of the new trilogy books. So nobody else was supposed to know who Darth Vader actually was. It's just supposed to be meant to be completely secret. And the only one that knew it was supposed to be Palpatine. For obvious reasons.
Mm.
And of course, then Luke finds out, but that's not until 20 plus years later.
Get ready. Nice.
So now she's even kind of pulling off some flippy stunts here too.
Nice.
Hmm.
Wow.
Did she take is this the Matrix move?
I mean, okay, so for one, yeah, she's probably gonna. It's probably gonna be true. She's probably gonna be force sensitive to be able to move and dodge like that. It could be the only one of the main explanations for this. But also, just look how kind of like goofy this looks too. But that was like, I don't know. It just kind of. I don't know. The swing itself just kind of comes off looking choppy. It's like why they had to cut it so quickly too. Oh, God, this is going to be a painful series.
Nice trick. Got any more?
Ahsoka, 2 episodes.
Or there's. Okay, so in some of the other trailers. Because here we see Ahsoka in a kind of different outfit here than what we are seeing her in present day. We don't know the exact context of everything. But Right, Duke. Why swing so high? So there comes to be a gap in time between the two, because then they meet back up. What if what we're seeing, some of this training stuff, is what was going on in between, after Rebels and between the Ahsoka show, like before, like the Ahsoka show, like we're gonna get like basically the Book of Boba Fett treatment. Like either it's gonna like be a bunch of flashbacks, or which I'm gonna guess is gonna be flashbacks. They're gonna flash back to this time that they were both traveling together looking for Ezra, and at some point their paths diverge, which we kind of talked about before. And then it catches up much later. She has the long hair again. And then whatever calls them into action, she cuts it again, like a la Kanan, and they get back into it. I don't know.
You're saying this like you're saying this timeline is
like
after
some of what we're
Rebels,
seeing,
Ahsoka.
like some of what we're seeing here, like with the training and stuff here in the beginning. This could potentially, like, maybe this is like pre the Ahsoka era that we're in for the show. Like I said, like, because there's
well, you
like,
know better because I've not seen Rebels, so I don't know, or just
it's like it was at the end of season 4 when they do the whole time skip. The whole point is for them to be still searching for Ezra. So I imagine we're going to have to get some of that filled in, and maybe that, like, some of this training and stuff, this is some of the events that maybe got them to be, you know, to be more acquainted and become, master and apprentice. As stupid as that is, but that could be, now again, like I said, this could just be me trying to put together the story for them. But that's what some of this is. This is some of why we're getting this. This is going to be flashbacks, and then they're going to get to the later time, getting more into gearing up towards Thrawn and stuff like that. So, like I said, it could just be me writing the story for them.
Might be better than what they're actually coming up with.
Because, like, I'm just, like I said, I could just be rationalizing or whatever, but this could be what's going on. And these are just like cuts thrown out there that they're trying to use to hype people up for this series, while the actors and writers are all picketing and stuff.
Right.
So maybe that's what's going on here. That's it.
I'm trying to.
23rd.
Here we're gotten more of this. I don't know. Like it's in. Again, we're kind of getting more similar shots of world between worlds crap. This could be what leads into. Maybe this was a place Ahsoka had already found. Now that's how they found it. I don't know.
This is her flashpoint, or this is her a flashpoint. But that thing's bothering me though. Who is this guy, and how does he know Ahsoka?
Well, and how did he know Anakin?
That's what I mean. How did he know Anakin?
I mean, the only thing, is that he's yet again another Order 66 survivor.
But he's not a Jedi.
I mean, he's a fallen Jedi, apparently, by the way it seems.
To be a fallen Jedi means you have to be a Jedi. I don't think this guy was ever established as a Jedi, according to.
So you don't think he was ever a Jedi during that time to meet Anakin? You think
know.
Maybe he was somebody on another planet or something?
Filoni didn't even say what these people were. What did he use the line of like? not everything is what you seem, or not
Oh
everything what you see is
God,
what it
yeah, he
seems.
did try. He should try pulling that crap.
So, and I don't know. What is it? Because it's not a red saber. So it's not a Sith. It's an orange. So it has to be some type of kyber crystal.
Well, and yeah, like Wookie says here, where is Ezra? Why stop looking for him unless he is dead or fallen to the dark side? Ahsoka from Rebels would kill Dorkside Ezra. And who is the new hero? These are established characters. Good questions all around. Unless they suddenly bring in the kid that Kanan and Hera made. But that's a boy. This seems to be nothing but pure females except for the Balin guy or whatever. The Ray Stevenson character. Oh. The more of this stuff that keeps cropping up, the more and more I'm just like, I really am kind of dreading this series. Especially with the fact that the season opener is going to be the 2-episode hour or something long.
Are we doing watch party?
I know Wookie's setting something up, but you're going to be at work.
Oh, that's right, because it's Wednesday, huh?
Yep.
Oh, darn.
More news to come on that. Well, you know what is funny too is that I was talking to a coworker this morning, and I dropped some of the truth bombs on him about, you know, how the force actually works. How it's not, 2 + 2 = balance. Just what it meant for Anakin being the one to chuck Palpatine, bringing balance, which is the light side of the force, back into the flow, and how the dark side is the unbalance and stuff like that. So, just helping talk to people helps convert, I think, a little bit, or at least illuminate some things. So that was fun this morning. That was at least a positive of this. But otherwise, this shit show. Yay, Chopper, clap, everybody.
Anakin always spoke very highly of you.
Whoa, okay. Okay, so those battles are going on at the same time. Because there you see, there's the Inquisitor and Ahsoka back there. I feel like I'm watching a Mortal Kombat, you're seeing two characters in the background of a Mortal Kombat stage fighting.
Yeah.
So okay, that brings this whole area into what's going on. They're static back there, like they are just like, I guess, squaring off.
Is that Chopper?
This is Chopper, yes, the little murder droid. Hitman calling for the premiere.
Yeah.
So yeah,
is it on a Wednesday?
What's that?
Is it a Wednesday?
Yeah, like it'll drop Wednesday morning. Kind of like how all the other D+ Star Wars shows have when they do it on that. They will release at like midnight. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm probably just explaining things too much for it.
I'm so ready for this. Not really.
I'm with more and more promo stuff that comes out, I just end up loathing it more and more. I keep looking less and like at first I was all kind of looking forward to ripping into it and having some fun with it. now I'm just kind of like, man, piss off. So to also partner with that, here we go. Sharing screen. So yeah, Ahsoka teaser trailer appears to show that Dave Filoni is retconning Star Wars Rebels. A new teaser trailer for the upcoming Star Wars Ahsoka appears. Okay, so just reiterate. The official Star Wars Twitter account shared a new teaser trailer that the Ahsoka Tano training Sabine Wren how to wield a lightsaber. The trailer sees Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka appearing to tell Wren, concentrate, take in all that is around you. As Wren faces off against Shin Hati in the middle of a forest. It then cuts back and forth with Ahsoka Wren sparring with wooden lightsabers, and the battle against Hati, which is the trailer we just watched. This brief training montage appears to indicate that it's actually Ahsoka Tano who will train Sabine Wren on how to wield a lightsaber. However, Kanan Jarrus had already taught her how to wield a lightsaber in Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 15, Trials of the Dork Saber. In that episode, Kanan and Ezra Bridger take Sabine to a remote location on Lothal, where Kanan begins to instruct Sabine how to use a lightsaber with a wooden training saber, which was to help her get used to, I guess, the weight and stuff like that for the dork saber. Although it seemed to always vary on how much weight it seemed to give to people.
Mando.
Here's the her training in Rebels. As the episode progresses, Kanan shows just how untrained Sabine is as he mercilessly parries and counters all of her attacks. He eventually tells her every mistake is a limb lost. The blade is never at rest. Kanan then delegates the training to Ezra, who instructed to walk her through the forms, which he does. Sabine doesn't take too kindly to Kanan's methods of instruction, and the two become frustrated with each other. However, Kanan would eventually change up his tactics and began training Sabine with the dark saber rather than the training saber, and work through the various forms that Ezra had taught her as Kanan attacked. By the end of the episode, Kanan's new training tactic was able to break through the mental block that was holding Sabine back, and he declared, "You've come a long way in a very short time. Where you go from here is up to you. But know this family will stand by you no matter what you choose," because I believe there's the potential that she would walk away from the Ghost crew and go and potentially lead the Mandalorians. Which we all saw how that turned out. By the next episode of Star Wars Rebels, Legacy of Mandalore, Wren used Ezra Bridger's green lightsaber, to disarm and defeat Gar Saxon, who had taken the dark saber as his own. So she's used. I had forgotten some of this. I forgot she even wielded it originally. Not only does this new teaser seem to indicate that Filoni is retconning his own work with having Ahsoka train Sabine Wren, but it further fuels the theory that Sabine Wren will attempt to become a Jedi or some kind of pseudo Jedi under Ahsoka Tano. Force is female. All she just needed to do was actually get trained by a female. And this will just further prove that Kanan and Ezra were all wrong, and they failed because they did not recognize her true potential. The series, and I don't even give a shit about Rebels. Like, why am I having to feel the need to almost defend these other characters? Because it's Filoni's own creations. He's shitting on his own characters, which, I mean, hey, I guess it's good. He's shitting on his own characters, but it's like, I don't know.
So, but he doesn't even know it, or maybe he doesn't. Just doesn't.
This
care.
is like some. This is like some like Toriyama level shit where he's basically forgotten his own story. Like, I'm guessing he forgot that this happened. And because, like we say, Disney Star Wars especially is only consistent at being inconsistent. They forgot their own storylines, and that's why now Ahsoka's training. But it's probably mainly because she will be the better instructor for Sabine, and this will also be Ahsoka's path to becoming and feeling that she is a Jedi now. So she will no longer say, I'm not a Jedi, but she will now embrace that title.
She walked away from the order, though.
She did. But now this is going to be like her trials and stuff like that to be a Jedi once again. That's just a guess.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So the first trailer hinted that at the possibility when Sabine informs Ahsoka, you never made things easy for me, Master. See, that's why I'm wondering if some of this is flashback. Why I'm thinking some of it is flashback, and now like that's the present day. When she's saying that you never made things easy for me. So that's the only reason why I could guess it's all that. After Ren calls Ahsoka Master, the trailer cut to a scene of Sabine watching a hologram of Miller saying, as a Jedi, sometimes you have to make, well, that was Miller. Oh, Ezra Miller, duh. Make the decision no one else can, but I'm counting on you to see this through. The idea that Dave Filoni would retcon his own work should not come as a surprise to anyone who has followed his comments about Star Wars canon. Speaking with Screen Rant at Star Wars Celebration this past April, Filoni said, quote, people get into all these debates of what's canon, what's not, and sometimes forget just the special nature of telling a good story and creating great characters. Further quote, part of the fan base debate in the past always used to be what's canon, what's not, because there was George and we always knew George was the canon. I look at it very broadly and just say there's just a love of Star Wars because I knew George, I worked with him. None of us are going to be him, but we love the galaxy he created and we are very much a product of it, growing up with it, he concluded. And yet, all of those book writers managed to stay within the frameworks of the galaxy and they kept things. They referenced other books' material and kept a consistent storyline throughout their books. How is it that you go from going from such a structure to now the garbled mess? Oh, right, because Dave Filoni is also in charge of creative. And when he makes dumb shit comments, and what makes him, and then making dumb shit comments like this goes to further show that he really doesn't care. And he is just writing his fan fiction. That's all he's doing. He's writing his fan fiction. Making sure his body pillow fucking characters gets their high marks and continues forward. Fuck this guy.
Never going away.
What Filoni misses here is that the Star Wars universe does indeed have a history, and when you violate that history or you change the history, you ruin the immersion of viewers. J.R.R. Tolkien explained this idea in his essay on fairy stories, like fairy tales. I can only imagine was maybe stories. What really happens is that the story maker proves a successful sub-creator. He makes a secondary world which your mind can enter. Inside it, what he relates is true. It accords with the laws of that world. You therefore believe it while you are, as it were, inside. Furthering, the moment this belief arises, the spell is broken. The magic, or rather art, has failed, he continued. You are then out in the primary world again, looking at the little abortive secondary world from outside. If you are obliged by kindliness or circumstance to stay, then disbelief must be suspended or stifled. Otherwise, listening and looking would become intolerable. But this suspension of disbelief is a substitute for the genuine thing, a subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe, or when trying, more or less willingly, to find that what virtue we can in the work of an art that has for us failed, Tolkien asserted. What do you make of this new teaser trailer? Do you think Filoni is retconning Star Wars Rebels?
Yes.
He's retconning Star Wars in general. It's like what Tim and Alora have been saying, and Tuscan Bob. They are working to conform the rest of the world of their Star Wars universe around the OT, but they've made Ahsoka, the Ghost Crew, the most significant and most important parts of the rebellion. Han, Luke, and Leia don't mean shit to a tree anymore. But Ahsoka is the best. That's how they're filling her in as the main beginning. Even though like what we recognized was basically Saw Gerrera has been the rebellion since the start of the fucking Empire. But it was Ahsoka Tano that brought it all together. More or less, yes. Like my brother just said, Ahsoka's the new Luke. And getting all of his storylines. Except apparently Rey's going to get the new Jedi Order storyline.
If she's a new Luke, who's a new Mara Jade?
Don't go there.
That. I'm just saying.
No. How dare you?
There's got to be Mara Jade. There's Luke. Anakin's the new Mara Jade. Bro! Anakin is the new Mara Jade because they called him Annie.
How does that make sense?
Let it marinate.
I don't follow.
It doesn't need to make sense. It makes about as much sense as like.
Right.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Makes
sense because Snips liked Anakin, and they had a thing going. So if she's the new Luke, he becomes the new Mara Jade.
She's just the new everything.
My brain
Good
hurts.
Lord. My brain hurts too. I'm just.
So I guess I don't mean to be disrespectful with this comment that I'm about to make, but from my own understanding, did they finish this series after this guy had after his untimely passing?
Race. Yeah. They. I'm pretty sure they finished this series, and unfortunately, he passed away before. From a certain point of view, maybe he's dodging a bullet. Who knows? But unfortunately, he passed away, and they'd already finished wrapping this series, as far as I'm aware.
What a cluster F this is going to be. Debating whether or not I want to.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Stargate SG-1's looking real good. Looking real good.
Easily.
That $99 is feeling like $10 right now.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah.
I might have to just download it tonight and start.
Start what? SG-1?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Stargate looking real good.
Oh my god!
We're gonna have to watch Rebels because watching this trailer, like outside.
Unfortunately,
I don't know any of these characters, man. I don't. So we'll have to figure out after the show how many. We'll have to go look at that Reddit thing or have to figure out which ones to watch.
Yeah.
But this is, and this is Wookiee had this planned. He had this plan. He knew this was going to happen. He let us win the poll to where we wouldn't have to watch it. But he's like, I'm gonna let them win this poll, but they're eventually
I'm gonna let them think they've won.
Yes,
and in reality,
literally,
they're gonna be stuck because
watching this show.
What they've shown from these trailers is that they are gonna have to watch the stupid series.
And he knew it. Oh, Wookiee, love you to death. Turkey knew. It is reverse psychology at its finest. Darn it, Wookiee.
Oh,
Static's probably over there too. Like, knew it. Had to watch it.
We were played like a fiddle.
Like a fiddle. Absolutely. Unequivocally played. All right. I don't know. How many seasons is in season 1?
Well, as I recall, it's like only if season 1 is light for supposedly episodes that have to be watched. Like the heaviest season that we had to get through is 4. 2's probably the lightest.
Okay.
2 and 3 are probably the lightest looking.
Oh.
There's like some arcs in there that maybe you might want to know, but otherwise it's like there are, and like it is. Some are highlighted, some are just like faded out that you can just skip. So, but as time goes on, it's like, oh no, you have to watch a lot of them.
I shall begin. Okay. You got anything else you want to go over?
Yeah, as kind of a, at least to me, kind of a palate cleanser. This came onto my radar thanks to our boy Jace. He had showed this to me on Tuesday night last week. This week? I think it was this week. But it's this fan film for Spider-Man.
Let's go.
And I the one he showed me, which I don't think is this one. This was like a day or so ago for their final promo. But the one he showed me looked good. I had a nitpick, and I don't know if we'll get to it in this, but let's check this out.
Guys, I tried to get here on time. I really did.
But your bike was stolen?
I do gotta say, like, for the characters, this is Gwen Stacy. Back there's Mary Jane. Like, they look like they were cut right out of the comic book, I gotta say. They look the part. The only thing that I'm like, that's Harry Osborn back there. To me, doesn't quite have the look, but I've already heard good things about this from this one guy, Mr. Bug on Twitter, who's also a big Spider-Man fan. So, but yeah, let's keep.
Stuck at the bugle? You're studying late? Something like that, Peter?
Something like that.
Okay, I do gotta say, like, for this, the Spider-Man leaping around, this looks good. Like, it's him leaping off of the top of the bus there, and like I was like, wait, did they use the game? Like the cinematics from the game or gameplay to get this? But no, apparently it's all them. All this guy making this video.
Living alone isn't living. If it was, then what would this mean? And I will always be Spider-Man. Not because I want to, but because I have to.
I gotta say, like the Spider-Man outfit looks pretty darn good. There's some bits that could be a little tightened up, like how you kind of see here in the neck, but otherwise, I gotta say, for like an indie thing, it looks good. Now, the one Jay showed me was a lot different because they got into showing off Green Goblin a bit. And I had a bit of a beef with that. Not a beef, not like major or anything, but it was definitely like they were trying to kind of like overly mimic Willem Dafoe's version of Green Goblin. Which I'm like, if you're gonna do something, try and make it your own. Especially when you're making your own universe sort of thing. Like that should be kind of do your own performance. You don't have to copy somebody else when you're, like I said, you're making your own established movie. But yeah, that was a little different than what I was shown. I'm trying to see if I can just to kind of get those few little extra. Dang it, I guess I should have gone with something else. Anyways, but yeah, I thought that was, even for like a quick little promo, I might have to check out the full thing and maybe give a report next week.
No, look, I mean, like I said, as a DC guy, obviously, I can appreciate that was a fan film.
I mean, it's a fan film. I mean, that's kind of the thing.
Looks good.
That, you know,
I have to show that to my brother. You have to send it to me so I can send it to my brother because he's about as big of a Spider-Man fan as you are.
Yeah, sure. I'll be. And no, Sheefster, it wasn't a porn parody.
Sheefster.
Well, I think with that,
yeah,
it leaves us on. Sheefster takes us out in a degenerate way, but Mr. Bug is always right. He does have some good takes. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
But with that, I think we're good.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff to look forward to. Not look forward to.
Yeah.
Yay.
So pumped for Sabine.
We'll keep you all updated. Yeah, so keep an ear out. We'll be
so pumped.
Discussing it.
Decide if I'm gonna call out that week or not call out that week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I got. Yeah, well, I'll be.
Yeah, that's all
Rebels
I've got.
tonight.
I'll again just kind of keep an ear out for whatever we'll be up to. And yeah, with that, I'll say good night, goodbye, catch y'all later. Toodles. I'll make you watch. You watch it with me, Sheefster.
Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me.
Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring, the one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter rage!